Marcus Lee pushed a mop across the marble lobby floor when a police officer walked in and mocked him for being just a janitor. What the officer didn't know was that Marcus wasn't janitor at all. He was the owner of the entire building. The lobby of Hamilton Towers gleamed with polished floors and tall glass walls. Marcus Lee, dressed in plain gray overalls, pushed a mop bucket across the marble tiles. He was tall, calm, and quiet, the kind of man people often ignore when they rush past him. At the far end of the lobby, 2 uniformed police officers stepped in. They were responding to a minor call from a tenant about suspicious activity in the parking lot. One of them, Officer Grant, looked at Marcus and smirked. "Look at this guy," Grant said loudly. "Cleaning floors at this hour. Bet he doesn't even have papers to work here." His partner gave him a sharp glance. "We're here for the call, Grant, not to mess with the staff." Grant ignored him and walked closer. "Hey, janitor," he called out. "Don't spill your dirty water on my boots." Marcus stayed calm. "Evening, officers. The elevators are down the hall if you need them." Grant chuckled. "So polite. Tell me, how does it feel mopping up after the rich folks who own this place? You probably don't even make enough to rent a room here." A couple of tenants walking through the lobby paused. They shifted uncomfortably, but said nothing. Marcus kept his eyes steady. Work is work. Everyone deserves respect. Grant sneered. "Respect? Don't fool yourself. Men like you clean up, while men like me keep order. Big difference." The words hit Marcus, but he didn't flinch. He had heard worse before. He pushed the mop bucket aside and stood straight. "If you don't know me," Marcus said simply. Grant laughed. "Sure, I do. You're a janitor in overalls. Don't pretend to be more than that." By now, people in the lobby had pulled out their phones. They recorded quietly, sensing something ugly was unfolding. Grant leaned closer. "Let me give you advice. Stay in your lane. Don't act like you belong among the people who own this place." Marcus said nothing more. He knew the truth would surface soon. The building's manager, Mrs. Alvarez, entered the lobby at that moment. She froze when she saw Marcus in cuffs of words, humiliated in front of tenants. Her eyes narrowed. "Officer, what do you think you're doing?" Grant turned smugly. "Keeping order, reminding this janitor where he stands." Mrs. Alvarez's voice cut like glass. "That janitor is Marcus Lee. He doesn't just belong here. He owns his building." The entire lobby went silent. Grant's smirk faded. "What are you talking about? He's mopping the floors." Mrs. Alvarez crossed her arms. "Mr. Lee bought Hamilton Towers 3 years ago. He chose to keep the staff uniforms and often helps with maintenance himself. He believes no work is beneath him. Every paycheck for every worker in this building comes from him." Gasps echoed in the lobby. Phones kept recording. Marcus pulled a key card from his pocket and held it up. "This gives me access to every floor, every office, every system in this building. Not because I clean here, but because I'm the landlord. I pay the taxes. I sign the contracts. And you laughed in my face because of what I was wearing." Grant's face flushed red. His partner looked at the floor, ashamed. One of the tenants, a middle-aged woman, spoke up. "I knew his name was on the ownership documents. He saved this building when the old owners went bankrupt. He kept us all from being evicted." Mrs. Alvarez stepped closer. "Officer, your behavior is not only disrespectful, it's disgraceful. You came here for a call in the parking lot and decided to humiliate the very man who signs my checks. You owe him an apology." Marcus raised a hand. "No, I don't need his apology. I need him to understand. You see a black man with a mop, and you think you know his story. You don't. You see work clothes and assume worth. But wealth, respect, and dignity are not defined by what someone wears." The crowd murmured in agreement. Phones kept recording. The moment was already bigger than the lobby. Grant muttered, "I didn't know." Marcus's eyes locked on his. "That's the problem. You didn't want to know." By the next morning, the video was everywhere. News stations replayed the confrontation. Commentators called it another example of how racial bias blinds people to truth. Marcus didn't chase fame. He returned to work the next day, in the same gray overalls, mop bucket at his side. When asked why he still dressed like staff, he answered, "Because no work is beneath me, and respect should never be beneath anyone else." The lesson was sharp and simple. Humility and ownership are not opposites, and racism always exposes the ignorance of the person who practices it. If you believe every person deserves respect no matter their work or appearance, subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications to catch the next story. Like, share, and comment to keep these conversations alive.